watching Sun TV, broadcasting to the world from studios in Providenciales, in the beautiful by nature Turks and Caicos Islands. Sun TV, your source for real news as it happens.
At least two of the candidates in the next general elections who may have been affected by the dual citizenship controversy have decided to regularize themselves. I'm Leslie Garland, and thanks for watching. Akira Missick, the PNP's candidate for Leeward, and Charlene Cartwright Robinson, the deputy leader of the PDM, told Sun TV that although they have taken issue with the section of the Constitution which states that dual citizenship bars persons from being a member of Parliament, they will do whatever is necessary to ensure that they only have Turks and Caicos Island citizenship. Here's what attorney-at-law Akira Missick, who has a U.S. passport, had to say.
I swear and hold allegiance to the Turks and Caicos Islands by virtue of me being born in the United States and having a U.S. passport. Section 49, one of the Constitution deems that I've sworn my allegiance to the United States of America. I don't believe that's the case, but in any event, as an attorney, I will uphold the law and follow the law, which requires me to renounce my U.S. citizenship in order to be the representative of the Leeward constituency. I think in terms of this section in the Constitution, I think it's a bit misguided. Not the renouncement of your citizenship, but the fact that it's going to affect about 80% of the children that were born after the 80s, who were born overseas. And by virtue of them being born in the various countries, they may hold a passport from the country of their birth. I don't think by just holding a passport that's sufficient to say your allegiance is to the country of your birth. At the end of the day, the passport, in my view, is a travel document. But unfortunately, the AG has taken a decision, and I will abide by his decision, and I'm in the process now of renouncing my U.S. citizenship. I think the law, again, is misguided, but at the end of the day, I will follow it, as I will be the representative of the Leeward constituency. It's time for us to take our country back. I will make changes, and I will be the voice of progress as their elected representative. So I think the law may hinder other people, but at the end of the day, it's not going to hinder me, because I have no problem renouncing my U.S. citizenship in order to serve my country. Turks and Caicos is my country. I don't believe I belong to any other country. I've lived here for God knows how long now, but by virtue of being born in America, I'm deemed an American citizen, but my allegiance is to the Turks and Caicos Islands. My generation will now be put in a sticky situation. Ever since the guidance notes came out yesterday, I've received a lot of calls from parents who are concerned that their children had been born in the United States and may not be able to take part in the political discussions in their country or serve their country, which is the only country they know. And I said, once elected into office, I will fight this law, because I may be affected today, but I would not allow the others to be affected and futures to come. So this will be one of the main things that I fight, along with the issues of my constituency, street lighting, feral dogs, the national issues of increased employment, inward investment. This is now on top of my agenda, because this has affected me personally. Although my allegiance is to the Turks and Caicos, and I'm proud to be a Turks and Caicos Islander, there are a lot of children out there who this will affect in the future, and it will be upon me to ensure that they're not hindered from taking part in their country's political discussions. It's basically a discussion. It deals with an interview at the U.S. Embassy in the Bahamas, and then there's a cooling off period in case you change your mind, which I won't be changing my mind. And once the cooling off period is changed and has passed, and you haven't gone back in to ask them to revoke your application for renouncement, then the process is completed. For the United States, I can't speak to any of the other countries. For the United States, once you renounce your citizenship, that's the end of it. You will be considered a foreign national, just like everyone else from any other country. I would then require a visa or take part in the visa waiver program, and I will only be allowed a certain length of time in the country. But at the end of the day, there's a bigger mission involved. I will be elected as a Leeward candidate, and it's only fair to the people of Leeward that they have an adequate representative, and a representative who's willing to make whatever sacrifices needed in order to ensure that the country progresses and moves forward. And I believe my team is the team to move us forward, and I will be the candidate, and I will be the representative come November 10 to move us forward.
Charlene Cartwright Robinson said although she was born in the Bahamas, she has never sworn allegiance to that country, and she does not even hold a valid Bahamian passport. Cartwright, who is also an attorney at law, said she only holds allegiance to the Turks and Caicos Islands.
I don't know that I've sworn allegiance to anyone. I've never went through a formal process of swearing allegiance to any country. I hold a Turks and Caicos passport, British passport. I was born in the Bahamas, and I've had the opportunity to hold that as a Bahamian citizen. I was born there and came to these islands at the age of 6. So I have held that passport, but I currently don't hold a valid Bahamian passport. In fact, until yesterday, I really didn't realize that I was a Bahamian. I think with all my life living here and giving all of my service and everything that I have to offer the Turks and Caicos, I think that pretty much my activities had already said that I was considering myself a Turks and Caicos Islander, taking on the status of my parents. I've never considered living in the Bahamas. The experiences I've had in the Bahamas is that I was able to go to the community college there, the College of the Bahamas, through a Turks and Caicos Islands government scholarship. I mean, that really didn't come through the end, but that was my connection to the Bahamas. It's not new. It is a part of the Constitution, Section 49. It's just that it's a different interpretation from what a lot of lawyers that I've spoken to as recent as yesterday have. I didn't believe that having a travel document from the place that you were born was swearing any particular allegiance to that state, or I didn't think it would have been relevant to me, having not held that passport for many, many years. Other persons in my position, but I have sought advice from the Attorney General on my particular case to see if in fact there has to be any formal renunciation of the place of my birth. And that's all I can say to that. It will discourage entry for a number of persons. Not so much those who were born in the Bahamas, because when persons were born in the Bahamas, 60s, 70s, into the early 80s, it was really for economic reasons, and a lot of those persons migrated. They came back to the Turks and Caicos. But you had what happened after that, persons going to the United States, where they actually got serious benefits from being born there, being able to go back there and take on citizenship of America. I think it will discourage some of our people going forward. And it is something that we have to look at, because at the end of the day, very few Turks and Caicos Islanders are having children in the Turks and Caicos, whether for medical reasons or other purposes. We're just not having children here. I'm one of the few Turks and Caicos Islanders. My 2 children were born in Grand Turk. I never thought to go anywhere else and have them. But that's the situation we're going to have to address, and it's a very scary one. With this loose interpretation of the Constitution, that particular section that I haven't spoken to a lawyer yet that seems to have the same interpretation as the Attorney General's chambers. I think it is tight enough to say from your actions, and I think the renewal of a travel document to me isn't an act of swearing allegiance. I believe that they're going to quote some case or something of that sort that I'm not privy to. But I believe that a person's actions really also show where their allegiance is. If I haven't held a passport, especially after I got a Turks and Caicos passport, and I haven't renewed a Bahamian passport since that, and I've given all my service and I've lived all my life here, I think I've formally or informally shown where my allegiance is. And the unfortunate thing is that I was able to get through University of the West Indies and law school because of having a Bahamian passport. But at the end of that training, I came back to Turks and Caicos, gave up that travel document, and lived and give the best of my service to Turks and Caicos. And quite frankly, I find this sometimes is a little, the last 24 hours has been a little troubling, because you feel like they're asking you to swear allegiance, like you're loyal. Where else am I loyal to? So it's a little disturbing emotionally, because you feel like this is all you know, this is the home you know nowhere else, and now you're being asked, show me that you love me, show me that you're loyal to me. I think my actions speak much louder than a travel document that I received when I was born in the Bahamas. In my case, it doesn't matter if they, I don't have to consider it, because as a matter of fact, I mean, it isn't something that I thought about, being a Bahamian citizen. But I think if they're asking you to formally renounce, the process can be a lengthy one. I've written, as I said, to the Attorney General to find out the advice in my particular case, as well as other persons in my party. But I've also gone as far as contacting the embassy for the Bahamas in Washington, and they've sent me the documents. But I've been told that it may not be that short a process. And I think if they were going to be giving this sort of interpretation to the law, they should have allowed persons, more time in order to make their renunciations. And I believe that everybody who's running in this race who happen to have not been born here, I don't know that it's that much of a major decision as much as it is getting through the process of formal renunciation. No, it wouldn't affect us. I don't think, because at the end of the day, I'm still expecting that the Attorney General will say our actions are, speak louder than having a tribal document from the place of your birth. I'm hearing the age 18. I think there are only about 3 of us who would have been holding a passport from the Bahamas. In our case, we don't have any other country involved after 18. And we're waiting on the interpretation, the decision on our case. Because they said they're looking at case by case.
That's our Sun TV News package for today, Thursday, October 11th, 2012. Until next time, when we bring you more real news as it happens, directly to your computer, your mobile phone, or your tablet. Until then, I'm Leslie Garland, and thanks for watching.